Okay, I'm just going to do a mic test. Test. Can our audiences hear us? If you can hear me, please just comment yes in the comment section. Can you hear me? Is it lag? Is there a lag time? Hold on a minute. Okay, we have about 4 viewers. Okay, we will just wait for a while for the for more audiences to stream in. I think there's a little bit of lag time, so we want to have a good start with everybody witnessing the opening statement. Probably we could do a mic test with Ken and Caleb. So can I go to a mic test with Ken? Ken, would you just say a test?
Yep, test. Can you hear me okay? This is
Hold on a minute.
Ken coming from Portland. Test.
Good, yes, we can hear that. Great.
Okay, good.
Okay, Caleb, can you just do a mic test?
Hello. Check 1, 2. Check.
Good.
Yeah?
We can hear. Great.
Okay, great.
You just hold on a minute while we let the audiences stream in to the stream.
Sure.
Yep. Right. Streaming in. Okay, Ken is good, Caleb is good.
Good.
Yep, crystal clear. Thanks,
Cool.
Audio Cheese, for the comments.
All right.
Shall we? Okay. Hello, everybody. How are you guys at home? I hope you are doing well. I'm Jayden, and I will be your host for this evening's session. I'm sure all of you know why we are here tonight. You must be very excited for the new Campfire series. We are very privileged to have with us the founders of Campfire Audio live from the States, Portland. It's about 7 a.m. in the morning over at their site. Let me introduce to you the president of Campfire Audio, Ken Bong.
Hello.
Nice. And the vice president, Caleb.
Hey, guys.
Hi. Okay. So Ken, Caleb, and to all viewers, this dialogue will stretch for about 30 minutes and it will be segmented into 3 parts. First, in conversation with the founders, where we will hear from the founders on how they started the Campfire Audio journey. Next, we will unveil the Spring 2020 series, in total 3 models, where the founders will share with us the engineering challenges and their candid views of their products. And lastly, the Q&A session. We will select questions in the comments bar below, and we will post them to the founders. So keep your comments and questions flowing throughout the session. So over to Ken and Caleb. Maybe you can keep the ball rolling on what made you guys started this Campfire Audio journey.
Yep. Hey, guys. Hey, I just want to say thanks for you guys for having us, first of all, and I want to say hi to all our friends in Singapore and the area, and we appreciate your participation tonight and listening to us. So, thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's a long journey. We started with ALO Audio, making awesome cables, and we just wanted to make something different and things that look good and sound good. So here we are. So,
right, it's good. So when did you guys started this Campfire Audio journey? Which year?
I believe it was 2004. I believe we started ALO Audio, and so yeah, and then Campfire was quite a bit later. After ALO Audio, we learned a lot, and so Campfire was what year was that? Like 2013.
I think 2015 is the official launch of some of the products, not late fall, early summer. But we've been working on a number of earphone, headphone projects before then, and so it had taken, a year or two to get to the point where we were comfortable releasing things, and rolling that off. But like Ken said, I mean, he had been making cables and high-end DAX amps, for the portable audio market for a long time. I mean, back when, the iPod and sort of chain of portable setup was really, the pinnacle of what you could do with portable audio,
Right. It's nice. So how did you guys get this inspiration in terms of branding it as Campfire Audio? I mean, do you guys like nature, or why is it Campfire Audio? It's a very personal question.
Yeah, I mean, well, we live in the Pacific Northwest, where there's a lot of big open spaces, and I'm a huge fan of getting in the outdoors and camping and stuff like that. And so we draw a lot of inspiration from nature and the outdoors, and the unknown, and just being out in nature is huge for us out here where we live. So we draw a lot of inspiration from that.
Right. So I'm looking through your models. You have very interesting models names like Andromeda, Orion, Polaris. Is there a larger personal meaning to them?
Same thing. We it's sort of a homage to the night sky and the outdoors and the unknown, and where we live, and just I love astronomy, and I love looking at the night sky, and it's just part of the inspiration, I guess.
But sadly in Singapore, I don't think we can see stars because we are very bright.
Yeah.
So seeing stars is, yeah. So it's nice. Right. So if there's one thing you want your followers to know about your brand, what would it be?
For me, it's just that we're a small knit group of people who are a lot like our customers, and that we revere music and how it affects your life and how it improves your life, and regulates your mood and how you get enjoyment from it. And that we're trying to produce things that are not anything similar to our other brands. So we're trying to do something different and be our unique, basically. I don't know, Caleb, how would you pile onto that?
I mean, that's it. I think what we're doing is making a lot of products that we would want to buy. I mean, if we weren't making earphones, I mean, that's the fun part of doing the personal audio stuff, is that when you're doing that, we were already, buying earphones, buying headphones at the time, before we started doing this. So I think that's the thing. I mean, the Campfire Audio products are products that like I would want to own if, anyway, right? So
right.
I think so, yeah.
It's very, very interesting. Thanks for sharing. So, what inspired you to develop these 3 new models that we are expecting to see tonight, namely the Era, Andro 2020, and Solaris 2020?
Sure. The 3 were the Andromeda. We mostly wanted to keep it the same because it's it's not broken or anything, and it's super popular. We wanted to keep it going, but we also wanted to do that kind of roll in a few key design and tuning improvements that we had learned through our constant research and development, because we're constantly trying new things and learning, and we wanted to add that into the Andromeda 2020. Same with the Solaris. We made some pretty incremental, significant improvements along the way, such as the solid body design. So those 2, the Andromeda and the Solaris, we wanted to pretty much keep the same, but add the small little tweaks that we had learned over our normal course of research and development. For the Solaris, we wanted to shrink the size because that was one of the things that was the biggest customer feedback, was that it was a little big. So we did that. With the Aura, it's pretty much kind of a totally new model. And so that one was more of sort of a new sort of direction for us. So that one was kind of new.
Right. Right.
Caleb, what do you got?
Right. Good. So now starting with the Andromeda 2020, I mean, me myself personally, I am an owner of the Andromeda Green, which is the very first generation to now. So just a question that I have is how different is the Andromeda 2020 as compared to the previous model? I mean, aesthetically, it looks pretty quite similar, which I think I want to show to the audience. Sorry, camera. All right, here. So on my left, it's Andro 20. Sorry, it's not in the screen. Andro 2020, and then this is the previous model. So how different is this compared to the previous model?
It's very similar. There is a couple aesthetic changes on the new one. We put that grill. That's sort of more of our, signature front part. So there's not 3 holes anymore. It's just that grill. Yeah.
Right.
So the bores are a little different. And then we made some small cosmetic improvements, but the inside is a solid body design. So we improved the sort of the tolerances across the batches with the solid body design. We incorporated some small tuning improvements. I would say that, and then Caleb, man, you can jump in here. But for me, when I go back and forth, it just seems to be a little bit more articulate, a little bit cleaner sounding to me. Like you pulled a little bit of wool out of the bore, that kind of sort of a crisper sounding to me. It's not much different than the old one, but a little bit better. But yeah, Caleb.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I mean, that's really, we learned a lot when we were doing the custom IM development, right? And so where we had to focus on the shape, bringing the Andromeda into a custom. And so then we're basically folding the things we learned there back into the universal model. And I agree. I mean, the sound is better. So right now is the, best time to buy an Andromeda if you haven't already. But, it is an Andromeda, right? So.
Right.
Yeah.
Great. So I have a question. If you could use an adjective to describe the sound signature of the Andro 20, what would it be? An adjective.
Yeah, I like the word articulate because it kind of demonstrates, sort of what the Andromeda was all about in the first place, and then we kind of improved that just a little bit incrementally in the new 2020. So it's really the sort of the pinnacle of our Andromeda to offer to our customers. Are really, really excited about getting it out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think I think people will really appreciate it. And if people have never heard Andromeda before, it's a great earphone. And I think it's still, this is a nice update to keep it fresh.
Right. Cool. So moving on to the second model, I believe this is a full BA configuration. In fact, I think this is the most number of BAs in your lineup so far. It's the Era. So why 7 BAs? Is that a magical number, or is there any significance to this number of drivers in a shell?
No, it's the most we can fit in the shell. First of all, you can't fit any more. There's no way. It's packed in there. But the Ara's, we're really proud of the Ara, and it's sort of it draws technical inspiration from the Andromeda Gold and the Mixway 10 with some unique improvements, and those improvements were sort of a step in a different direction for Campfire, in that the bass is a little bit lower, but the quality we feel is higher. And so that's where that came from. It was more of we wanted to make a BA. I personally wanted to make an all BA IEM that sounded more like a hybrid. So the best you could make as far as technically with all BAs, and I think we did a pretty good job with that. The interesting thing about the 7 driver model, it's got a four load drivers, and so we kind of took a different approach with the 4 load drivers, in that the four BAs. It's all about volume, velocity, or pumping power, which is a function of piston area and excursion. And so the four BA drivers working in phase as one adds a higher quality of low frequency as opposed to a higher quantity. So all four working together as one in phase has lower distortion. The load is spread out through the four drivers, so the quality we feel is better. Although the SPL is a little lower, but that was to accentuate the mid-range. So we really wanted to take a hard push at the mid-range to do something a little different. And I think it worked pretty well. And so the early reviews have been fantastic. So we're really excited about how it's received with our customer base. It's something different from our normal fare.
Right. So what are the challenges, to compact 7 BAs in such a small little, in the shell like that? So what are the challenges you faced?
Yeah, it was really tough because just a little teeny bit of movement one way or another completely changes things. So, we have a really super talented team of engineers that Valjevan and Valjevan Singley and Ben Lolinger, they both worked really hard at jigsawing them all in. And the tuning via the plumbing was super difficult, but we just worked over it over a fairly long period of time to get it right. So,
right. Great. Yeah. I believe the audiences will be very excited to have a listen of this era. So, is there a special coating to the shell that you mentioned on HitFi?
It's okay. So the shell is from a solid piece of billet titanium, and we have a very talented machine shop that worked very hard to get that to become reality. So it's basically raw metal, so it will wear quite well over time, like same with a watch. And so we wanted a shell that would look good and wear well over time.
Right. Great. So in your opinion, what music genre goes best with this model? Personal question.
I haven't really picked or found one genre or another for each earphone. I usually let my customers kind of give me that feedback. We just try to make that as best as sounding as possible, and then let the chips fall where they are. So I've heard people say one thing or the other. It depends on their personal preference and what they hear. Everyone hears something different.
Right.
Yeah.
Thanks for that.
Yeah.
So, moving on to the last and final model, which is the flagship of Campfire Audio. Just walking through to the audiences. Now, this is the very first generation of the Solaris, which is the gold-plated one. And then followed by the Solaris Special Edition, which was launched earlier last year. So now we have the Solaris 2020. So my understanding that this size is smaller by about 20% from the previous Solaris, right? So was this based on the market feedback that you guys have gotten, that you guys decided to go for something smaller for the Solaris 2020?
Caleb?
Yeah, I think everyone really enjoyed the sound of Solaris. I think that it was, I know that we were really happy with how it sounded. We really liked the performance. We really liked the, wide open sound stage, the awesome bass, the really cohesive, presentation that Solaris has. I think that some of the feedback when it was out there was look, it's a little bit too big for some customers. So that was going to be what was driving it. And so based on that feedback, we went and tried to shrink it. And I think that was really challenging to do. But we also wanted to not only shrink it, but also retain the same signature, all of the qualities that we really like about Solaris. And so that's what Solaris 2020 is, a result of that effort. And it turned out really well.
Right. Great. So what are the challenges? I mean, given that you guys have did Solaris before, and as you mentioned that the sound is much better than the previous model. So, but at the same time, you have reduced the size by about 20%. So what are the challenges you guys faced?
Yeah, it's huge because any little, like if you change an internal dimension just by a millimeter, you could completely throw the frequency response and how it performs way off. So it's super tricky. And, you know, a while back, Caleb was like, we have to fix this. We have to make it smaller. And I'm like, oh man, good luck. Yeah. But again, I mean, the engineers that we have these guys are just amazing and worked really hard at doing that. There's a lot of back and forth, a lot of listening, a lot of 3D printing, all kinds of stuff. And it was a lot of work, but it really paid off. And I think, you know, we're real happy with the size. We improved the angle of the spout just a little bit to make it a little bit more ergonomic as well. But yeah, it's a crazy amount of work. But I mean, you know, that's what we're good at is working with these things. So we're continually trying to produce better and better products. We want to make the best we can possibly make for our customers. You notice that the prices never went up on these 3 models, or the 2 models rather, because the R is new. But we just want to improve and do the best that we can. And you know, if we see something that works, we want to add it to our product lineup to be the best that we can possibly be.
Right. So this is a design question here that I have. The very first generation of Solaris is gold, right? Followed by the Solaris SE, which is a little bit more, you know, if you can see the camera, right? So why do you guys decide to do black, full black? Any particular reason?
I think it's a little bit more understated. I think that was along with the feedback about the, about the size. Some people were a little bit hesitant about the finish, like having a really flashy gold finish to their earphone when they're out in the subway, out and about, And so that was some of the feedback as well. Also, the PVD coating on the new Solaris is really robust. I mean, and that means that as you use it, it will stay new looking. You know, it's a really durable finish. And so I think it looks pretty slick, you know, but the new darker cable, the dark earphone, it's pretty understated. And I don't know, I like it.
Right. Nice. So now let's have a takeaway for audiences. So what's one key thing that we should let our audiences take away from this model, the Solaris 2020?
Well, I mean, it's sort of our best earphone at the moment. You know, I think technically, and I think that the hybrid it is drawing from the best you can get from a dynamic driver. So the best bits of the dynamic driver are put forward, and then we try to reduce the inherent things that make dynamic drivers not great. Same with the BA. We try to enhance the great things about a BA and reduce what's not inherently good about BAs. Merge the two, and yeah, that's our flagship.
Great, nice. That's nice. So we do have 3 models in total for this season. So we have in conclusion, we have the Andromeda 2020, which is a refreshed model. We have the Era, which is the first 7VA configuration from Campfire Audio. And of course, lastly, we do have your flagship, which is the Solaris 2020, reduced in size, but of course, giving the same performance and sound. So a very more of a personal question again for maybe Ken. So among these 3 models that we have, the Era, the Andro, and the Solaris 2020, which one of them is your baby?
Well, I mean, honestly, it depends on really what mood I'm in. So it kind of changes from day to day mostly. Technically, of course, the Solaris is sort of more of my technically proud of because of how it performs. So, and what we're able to do with it. There's a lot of things that nuances that you can't capture in a measurement, and I think that is huge with the Solaris. I mean, there's a lot of subtleties that are just there that I don't hear in a lot of other earphones.
Right. So Solaris 2020 is your personal favorite as of now.
Yeah. I mean, they like, again, I mean, it depends what mood I'm in, what I'm listening to, but generally, the Solaris is right up there.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. So moving over to Caleb. So which of these three models is your personal favorite?
Well, right now I'm all about the Era. This is the way that I really enjoy this. It's bringing something new and something fresh to our line, which is pretty exciting. I think there's something to be said for Ken's new crossoverless approach, which I think is really I don't know. I think it's a really interesting earphone. It's fast. It's really articulate, and it's really like resolving. So when you love like that inner detail, right? And so I've spent a long time listening to Andromeda and to Solaris, which are both awesome. And I am lucky to be able to listen to both of those. But this one, offers something fresh, and so that's what I'm listening to these days.
Yeah. I want to pile on to that. So another thing about the Aura is that to me, it's more of like just like any hobby, like wine or bird watching, or the more you do it, the more you sort of sharpen your senses. And I feel that the Aura is more of like that type of earphone. It's more of like, after you've been into hi-fi for a while, you start to get really tuned to the subtle differences. And that's where I think the Aura really shines. It's like you really noticed a lot of subtle nuances with that earphone that I don't hear with a lot of other earphones. So we're really proud of the direction of the Aura and what it has to offer. It's more of like a, audiophile type IEM. So we're really excited about having that in our lineup.
Right. Wow. So much of insights from you guys, from Caleb and Ken. So I guess the audiences are really very eager to have their hands on to these three models, but sadly, we're still in the midst of our circuit breaker. To the audiences out there, so do stay tuned. I guess these models will be available by this month in our retail stores when the circuit breaker is being lifted. So do stay tuned and do drop by to the stores to really test out these models and really experience these models yourself. So coming to the third segment of our show, we are now opening up questions from the ground. I guess there are many diehard fans of Campfire Audio. They really have many questions for you guys, but of course, due to the time constraints, we will not be able to pick up every questions from the public. But of course, we will pick up questions that are relevant for Campfire Audio. So now let's move on to the first question we have. This is a question for the Solaris 2020. So with the original Solaris SE, and Solaris 2020 in the current lineup, how will Campfire position or market each of the variants? Because from my understanding that these three models are still a current model. We have the Solaris Go, we have the Solaris 2020, and the Solaris SE. So how do you guys position these three models?
Actually, the Solaris 2020 is replacing those. So the original Solaris we've wrapped up, and the Solaris Special Edition was just a limited run product. So that I think there are a handful of those maybe left in the world, but yeah. So
Great. Good.
Yeah.
We have another question. Are there any plans to introduce a budget model of Campfire Audio? Okay, previously you guys had the Comet. You guys had Comet. So any plans to introduce any more range that's around this Comet series?
Well, I think we're always working on things. It's just a matter of whether we can bring something that offers value, to people. And so that's what we're always working on new projects, but we don't have anything at the moment.
Yeah, we only have I think we have 21 people, so we don't have a lot of builders. So we have to choose and pick our models super carefully because making them is a real challenge for us. So we do it all here in Portland. So
good. So we hope you get it answered.
Yeah.
We have one question from our audience, Elvin Pong. Correct me if I pronounce it correctly. Now, this question he asks is, do you guys 3D print the exact material for your prototypes? Is there a huge difference in the sound signature when printed with different materials? Probably Ken, you want to take this question?
Yeah. Are you talking about the shell or the interior? There's two
I guess you'll be saying the exact material. I guess it's the shell. Probably it's the shell.
The shell definitely makes a difference. The shell material makes a big difference. So yes, but for R&D purposes, we do a lot of prints and listen to it, knowing that when we go to whatever metal, it's going to sound a little better.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Caleb, sorry, you were saying? No? Okay. So I hope we get that answered for Alvin Pong. We have another question coming from the ground from the Audio Cheese. The question he asks is, what is the biggest challenge you faced when dealing with ERA's titanium shell?
With the titanium shell?
Yes, for ERA, the model ERA.
Yeah, the biggest challenge is it's very expensive. It's a big build. But the machine shop that we used did a lot of work with it, and their experience in making things out of titanium. They're a very good shop. We went to them, and when I went to them, I was like, we have to keep. I complained to them saying that we had to keep dumbing down our designs because nobody could make the things that we came up with, and the owner was like, give me whatever it is, the hardest thing that you have. We want the challenge. And so they were really good about, they were real great about doing whatever we wanted. So they did a great job, but it is expensive, but we want to make it as good as we can. And I think the wear of titanium is gonna look great over time. So we're happy.
And without a finish or anything, I mean, you're looking at the part. So it's important, we have a really high level of quality control here to make sure that, all of these are coming out looking awesome,
Right.
We don't get to cover anything up with a finish or anything like that. So,
right.
Cool marks or that kind of thing.
Great. We have another question from the ground. This he's asking, would Campfire make an open back headphones? I also like to ask this question too, because you guys had the Cascade, which is a closed back. Will you guys, develop into the open back market of the headphones?
I doubt it, because there's so many good open back headphones out there already, and we made the Cascade because there was a few good sounding closed back. I personally love closed back headphones as well, but we don't have any current plans to make any open back headphones. Right. Our hands full.
Then you guys must be busy making earphones ready.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So we are going to take one last question from the floor. If no, then we will end this session. So let's keep the questions coming in. Let's see. I guess no. Okay. So with that, we have come to the end of this Spring Campfire Audio Spring 2020 dialogue session. Really very thankful for Ken and Caleb to be up so early, right? 7 a.m., right? Yeah. So guys, thanks for staying tuned with our timeline. Thank you for sharing a lot of insights, and of course sharing of your 3 new models, which will be officially going to be launched in the retail stores by end of this month, once the circuit breaker has been lifted. So with that, we'd like to thank our audiences for joining us live in this show. And meanwhile, we will still keep the questions coming in after this live feed. Just throw us questions in the comment section, and then we will consolidate these questions and have them raised to Ken and Caleb. So for those guys, for these guys who have missed out this live show, this live stream will be subsequently uploaded to the YouTube channel and our Facebook page, so that you guys can understand better of these 3 new models. So good night and stay safe, everybody.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Jayden, for doing this. Let's do it again.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hold on.